Welcome. I know this isn't normally the video that I would do on this channel, but I haven't done a Nuzlocke in over a year, not counting the one that I did that was really bad and I don't like it anymore. So I'm gonna do another one. And why don't I Nuzlocke a new Pokemon game? I got Pokemon Scarlet with my favorite typing. Not Dragon or Ground, like this channel's entire mascot, but Steel. There's just something about Steel type Pokemon like Scizor, Lucario, Steelix, Aggron, Aegislash. They're all just the GOATs. And they're super good too, because Steel's a very defensive typing, but it's gotten a lot more offensive lately. With this, I wanted to see if I could beat a Hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Scarlet using only Steel-type Pokemon. The rules are, I can't overlevel the next boss fight, I can only catch one of each Steel type, excluding Golden Go, because I'm never gonna get that. I have to nickname a Pokemon every time I catch it. And to make it even harder, every Pokemon that faints must be permanently boxed forever. This Nuzlocke is probably my favorite one that I've done in a long time, and I'm also very proud of beating it. So just watch till the end, because it gets kinda ridiculous. Anyways, let's begin. Right off the bat, we have to pick our first starter, and I picked Sprigatito, which gives Mona Quaxley, which, yes, will give her the fighting type in the future. But if you know anything about Skeledirge, it will fuck your shit up on her team, and I am not dealing with that. And finally, after an hour of playing, I get to my first encounter of the run, a Rookity, which, isn't a Steel type yet, it's only pure Flying, which, fun fact, is one of 3 Pokemon that are pure Flying, as all of them either have normal typing or something else. Anyways, after a little bit of grinding, we take on the first gym, a Bug-type gym, with my Flying type, that just learned Hone Claws to boost its attack. This was not hard, as after 3 Hone Claws, Peck one-hit KO'd every Pokemon on our team, giving us a pretty easy win in just about 3 minutes. But now it's time to fight the Titan Claw, and I start to look around to see if I can find some Steel types, and I end up finding Bronzor and Tinkatink. I really love Bronzor, as every time I've done a run that has involved it, it has always been so useful, and Tinkatink, I've never used it before, so this would be a first time. I'm really excited to use it too, so after boxing Rookity, until it can evolve at level 36, which is not going to be for a long time, we breeze through the Titan Claw. But Brazius is tricky, since Sudowoodo is strong for this early in the game, and even though we resist all of its moves, I'm still scared of it. So, with over an hour of preparation, we start the fight. I lead with Tinkatink and take out the first 2 Pokemon with Lunge, and my plan for Sudowoodo is to use Baby Doll Eyes to weaken it as much as possible, and the range is really close, and I can risk my life for one more Baby Doll Eyes, but he crits Tinkatink off the face of the earth, but Bronzor is able to finish it up to get the 3rd badge. Only 15 more, he said, crying a little. But there is a downside, since we can't get a new encounter until after this Titan. And I have Bronzor only. Normally it's not a bad Pokemon, as it's pretty bulky and defensive, but this thing is part Dark type, so I can't use my stab other than Gyro Ball, which does do a lot, and I ended up attempting for some confusion strats. And I made it out on just 6 HP, but something that I completely forgot about is that you don't get healed in between phases. But a miracle happens. Kind of. Where Arvin's Knackley takes 5 consecutive plucks from that thing, and I'm thinking, no way I can actually get out of this deathless. But it lands 1 pluck and takes down Nickel. However, Arvin still wins on the same turn. So, instead of restarting the run, I decided to call it Blessed and just continue on with it. But Bronzor is still dead, obviously, because we all watched him die. So, we have to get a new encounter. And our new encounter is at level 19 Riolu, and after friendship grinding, and it evolves into a monstrous Lucario. And then also catch Magnemite, which is my 3rd favorite Steel type ever, or at least Magnezone is. And then my favorite electric type ever. Also, fun fact, I played through this game my first time with a shiny Magnezone, and it was very, very fun. Anyways, Guzma is the next Pokemon boss battle, I guess you could say. I don't really know what to call them. Anyways, his entire team is Dark type, so Lucario just sets up a couple Calm Minds, and then one-hit KOs all of his Pokemon with Aura Sphere. Not exactly hard. After that, the level cap is raised, meaning that I can catch another Pokemon I'm excited to use since I haven't used it, like Tinkatink and Varoom, because why not? I mean, it's a car, basically, but you know what? It'll be a pretty good part poison type later on to resist fighting moves. Oh yeah, and also catch Qfent, and I catch Ponyard, even though it doesn't evolve, which means that we can't get King Gambit, since you need to catch one of these with the leader's crest outside the fighting type Team Star Camp level 52. Yeah. Anyways, we take on Iono the streamer, and the only thing that can really screw us over is if Lucario gets paralyzed, but she doesn't, and we one-hit KO our whole team. After that, I decide to challenge Orthworm. Even though it's 7 wolves higher than my whole team, Lucario still one-shots it, so it doesn't really matter. And now they'll spawn everywhere in the desert, so when I try and catch one, I didn't realize it had Bulldoze, because it was using every other move but Bulldoze and one-shot Varoom, and it then dies. Well, at least we catch it, so it should be useful since it has a beastly 200 defense. The same defense as Steelix, and that doesn't have any weaknesses to stuff like water, I guess. And it also resists grass and ice, so it could definitely be useful later on. But, not that, I don't imagine it being that useful. Then I see a Pterodon that's Steel, and I realize that I can probably get a Pokemon that isn't a Steel type, but can Terrastalize into a Steel type. This is technically breaking the rules, but I don't care because I made the rules, so shut up. Plus, I think it's very funny to have a non-Steel type on the team. And it's Weasel! I've never used Floatzel before, so this is definitely going to be very fun. I'm going to count this encounter, but I can only use it when it's terastalized. And after evolving into Floatzel, we can take on the fire team leader of Star, whatever it's called, Mela, and her fire types. So this is awful. I lead up with Floatzel and immediately set up the rain as I get hit by a flame wheel for not much damage, and then one-hit KO it with Surf. The next Starmobile comes out, and we get some pretty good spread damage off, but Flaming Torque hit half with... I hit it with Surf again. I lived the next Flaming Torque on 4 HP. This was really important because if it burned, then I would have just lost the whole run, and probably Floatzel too. Maybe not the whole run, but it would have been much scarier, because I don't really have a Pokemon that can outspeed nor take a hit, so it was very dangerous. However, I lived just barely, even though it had a 50-50 chance to burn each time, and we then take it out with another Surf. God, that was close. After walking through Cortando, we can face the gym leader Kofu, and I lead off with Qfent and start growling to lower its attacks, hoping to not get crit since crits bypass stat changes. And after we are too low to withstand a crit, I swap into Magnemite, who gets crit right away. Great. So I gotta go into Lucario early and use Sword Stance twice, but his entire team is destroyed by Trailblaze easily. After the battle, Magnemite evolves into Magneton, then into Magnezone with a Thunderstone, so we get some massive upgrades. If you don't know, Magnezone is really good in this game because it has so many type advantages. So basically, we can basically just use it to sweep most of the battles, like stuff I can't think of off the top of my... I don't know. We can use it really well. It's very good. It's a very good Pokemon, okay? That's all you need to know. That is all you need to know. After this, we can take on everyone's favorite gym leader, Larry, and his normal types. We one-shot his first two Pokemon with Aura Sphere after a couple Calm Minds, and as for Staraptor, I swap in Magnezone to take it out with two Thunderbolts. But after the gym, we have to go up against Pneumonia, and Quaquaval, as soon as it comes out, it starts raining of all things to make it even stronger. I was forced to sack Qfent and Rookity to get some damage off, but I will not make that mistake ever again. I will make sure to set up against the first few Pokemon and take them out. I just forgot to do it because I was stupid, alright? Sorry. After this, we have to take on Rhyme, and while I could say that this gym was insanely difficult and I almost lost several Pokemon, it was really easy as Floatzel spammed Crunch and Ponyard spammed Assurance, and this gym was won in just 5 turns, so it wasn't too hard. No one overleveled, no one came close to dying. It was all chill, which, you know, if you have a super effective move like Ghost or Dark, or even something like Steel types, then it's really easy to get through this gym. Since with her team, when you Terrastalize, both your Pokemon get an Omni Boost, and they get +1 attack and special attack for every KO that you get, so it's really easy to just set up and sweep her. After this, we have to go up against the Great Tusk Titan, and since it has both Brick Break and Stomping Tantrum, I decided to... Well, I decided to use Floatzel. I had this super elaborate plan to lower its attack with chilling water to lower its offensive power, but I just straight up two-shot it both times, so we never really took any serious damage. Now we can take on the Psychic type gym, which is really dumb with that stupid emotion puzzle. I basically just button mashed through the entire thing, but we did have a rogue Medicham with high jump kick in the gym, but we made it out deathless, fortunately. This fight was going to be pretty easy. Orthworm set up iron defenses, took out Rigoraph without taking damage. We managed to take down Espathra with only 18 HP left, but when the Gardevoir comes in, we cannot stay in anymore. I decided to swap into Fortress in order to set up spikes, then I go into Zinc to eat a Psychic, then live on 10 HP from a Dazzling Gleam and almost just downright take it out with a Night Slash. I really don't know why I didn't Metal Claw, because it would have done more damage, because, you know, super effectiveness, but whatever. I then go into Magnezone and clean up with a couple Thunderbolts. Almost bad, but we still made it through with no deaths, even though half my team looked like it was almost dead in the first place. We then get our last encounter of the game, Meowth, and after grinding it up, it evolves into Berserker, baby. We can then take on Grusha and his ice types, and yeah. Based off how the entire playthrough has gone, I think I can just sum this word up in one word. Let's try it. I can sum up this gym in one word, and that was Lucario. Moving on. We can then take on the Fairy types, Team Star Leader, and I had plans to sleep with Lucario, but Azumarill got a crit and almost killed it. But Magnezone is already a beast, so he just takes out the entire thing. And yeah, it really wasn't that hard. I don't know what to say. Like, Steel types were basically given a buff to be good against Fairy types when Fairy types came out. So this this Team Star fight was never going to be difficult for us. It was not one I was worried about at all. He did almost lose Lucario, so he gets points for that, but also -5 points and then another 3 points for that haircut. Next up is the False Dragon Titan, and this one was a little bit harder than expected because I went in a little bit under-leveled, mainly because the next and final boss of the run, Ares, the fighting type Team Star Leader, is like one level higher than us. This was a little bit hard, but with some clever switching and taking a risk when I needed to, I got the job done pretty easily. Meaning that we can move on to the last badge. Time for Ares, the fighting types Team Star Camp. So, I'm gonna have to lose at least half my team in this battle, and most likely I'm gonna die. Most likely, I could actually have to reset the entire run here because this is a very difficult fight, and oh wait, Lucario gets learned Psychic through TM. So after lowering Toxicroak's attack stat, we just set up and one-hit KO all of his Pokemon. So now we can just go to the Elite Four, I guess. We're starting off with Rika, the Ground-type expert, which isn't good because my entire team is weak to Ground types, in case you haven't been watching this video, except for, like, Fortress. Anyways, I start off with Lucario and Terastallize into a fighting type, so Earth Power doesn't do too much. And with a single Trail Blaze, we take it, and Camerupt goes down to 2 after a Sword Stance. I thought it had Sturdy, and when Sturdy Donphan comes out, I have to switch, since it really does have Sturdy. Unlike Camerupt, which only has Solid Rock, apparently. So, just a little tip. Anyways, Orthworm can handle the rest of the team, since nothing really has anything for him. Dugtrio's got Stone Edge, as well as Donphan, and then Clodsire has, what is it again? What's the move called? Liquidation. Yes. Anyways, it was pretty free. Next up is Poppy and her Steel types, and yes, that is a literal child wearing diapers as an Elite Four member. So I'll be damned to hell forever if I lose even one Pokemon to this child. I'll lead off with Zinc, and he manages to take out the Caparage with a low kick. Next is Corviknight, and this thing does a body press, so I swap into Magnezone, and it just went for iron defense. I take it out with a Thunderbolt. Bronzor's next, and it has Earthquake, so I go into Orthworm, but can't do much damage, because we run out of Iron Type power points. So I have to switch back. So I use Shed Tail to swap back into Zinc with, since Shed Tail sets up Substitute, so I can get a free switch like this, apparently. Anyways, we take it out in one single Night Slash, and her own Magnezone comes out, and it has Sturdy, so 2 low kicks take it out, and which leaves only a Tinkaton, which, you know, really hurts, because I used to have one. Anyways, this thing has Brick Break, so I tear a Steel, and
literally just knock it out in 2 low kicks. Like, it doesn't do much. Next up is Larry and his flying types, which is gonna be kind of tricky because he's got a lot of coverage moves like close combat and flamethrower. But Tropius is a pretty easy kill with Ice Fang. Staraptor's next with close combat, so I have to switch. I don't really want anything taking hits from this thing, but Orthworm only takes 2/5, so I live on 17 HP, and Ironhead brings it down. Brings it to the red, and I have to switch again, so I go to Berserker, take whatever it's going to throw at me, and Fake Out finishes it off. Next up is Altaria, which is not good, so I go into Floatzel, who takes a little less than half. So I decide to just click Ice Fang, which, by the way, looking back on it, I could have gotten the Ice Beam TM and it would have taken it out here, but we don't take it out, and then it takes me out. So yeah, I definitely should have done that, but brain fart moment or something. Anyways, Magnezone can clear up the rest of the team with relative ease, but that is still a sad loss, and Floatzel was very fun to use, even though it's not really a steel type, but then again, I kind of had fun with it, so I kind of don't care, and I only really attacked with it when it was a steel type, so yeah.
Hassel and his dragon types are up next, and he leads off with the coolest dragon flying type, Noivern. I go with Lucario, set up a sword stance, and take it out with a Meteor Mash, but I just barely hang on. Next up is Dragalge, and since I don't really want to miss and don't think I can take it out in one hit, I send it Orthworm and take it out into 2 Earthquakes. Since Orthworm is apparently faster than the Sea Dragon, somehow, I have no idea. Axorus comes in, and since it has Mold Breaker, Earthquake can hit me, so I have to switch, but I really can't take a hit, so I decided to just sack Orthworm, but he goes for Crunch for some reason, so I can Iron Defense. I then can bring it down to a 3rd somehow, and I swap in Magnezone. And somehow, I'm able to take out both Flapple and Excalibur, so I won with no deaths somehow. Weird, but I'll take it.
Time for the champion fight against Nemona, and I start off with setting up some spikes and sword stancing with Bisharp. And now it is time to ravage her team. Espathra, ravaged. Avalugg, smashed. Veluza, crushed. King Gambit took a gamble and lost because I had low kick. Gogoat, annihilated. Finally, only Glamora left, and it outspeeds Zinc and kills me. Oh no. We do knock out the Glamora 3 turns later, but that really hurt. But if you've ever played this game, then you know becoming the champion is not the end, because we're going all the way. Now we have to take on Professor Clavel, and this one was a little bit tricky because he's got both Gyarados with Earthquake and Skeletor with Torch Song. So I lead off with Lucario, set up 2 sword stances, and take out the Oranguru with close combat. Gyarados immediately comes in though, so I have to swap out into Orthworm, and this thing really can't touch me, so I just take it out with a few Iron Heads after setting up some Iron defenses. Then I 2-shot the Sinistea after it burned me. After that, I Mungus. I got some damage on Amoonguss, and then swapped out into Fortress, then Berserker to finish it off. And in comes Abomasnow, who I nerfed with Charm, and then set up Toxic Spikes, then regular Spikes, and Bug Bit it to take it down. My plan against Skeletor is to protect Stall it, and after one protect, I swap out into Earthworm. I really don't need it for the rest of the run, so I just decided to sacrifice it, because it's done its part so far. But it dodges the hit. I then live the next hit on 1 HP, and get some damage with an Earthquake. I really don't know how he lived this, but I will forever respect Orthworm after this. However, Kyanite is gonna have to sacrifice for that. Losing Fake Out and Charm is pretty bad, but you know what? 200 base defense is a lot better. Anyways, we won that with only 1 death, because we basically just toxic stalled it. I will forever respect Orthworm, the fucking madman. Or Mad Worm? Alaskan Bullworm. We gotta go with that nickname. He is the Alaskan Bullworm from SpongeBob. Does not die. Does the Alaskan Bullworm die? I have to look this up. Oh, it does. Never mind then. Forget I said anything. Because, yeah. Next up is Arven. And this one was a little bit tricky. The Lucario managed to set up Sword Stance and take out the green. And he then took out Scovillain. But Toadsquirrel is somehow 94 base speed. To put that into perspective, that is faster than Lucario, 1 point slower than Rayquaza, and faster than Salamence. I don't know how, and it went for Power Whip, which would have killed Lucario if it hit, but it missed. Cloyster and then Cloyster went down, then Garganical, finally the boss diff, but we run out of close combat, so I have to swap around until it eventually dies. We just made it out of that with no deaths, but it did get scary. Next up is Penny, and we basically just set up sword stands in close combat and extreme speed of her entire team. The reason I had extreme speed is because apparently Jolteon was faster than Lucario, even though I maxed out its speed stat. So I had extreme speed on there just in case, and it was also pretty good neutral coverage. Other than that, we just have one more battle to take on after this, which is Nimona, which was so easy that I'm not even going to mention it. I literally one-hit KO'd her entire team with Lucario. That is no joke, there is no pun, there is no anything. This was easier than Arven. Like, I'm not even joking. I used only Lucario and won still.
And now we can head into the depths of Area 0. It's time to take on Professor Sada, and I theory crafted for a while. There's just no way. I only have 4 Pokemon. It's like, how am I going to do this? Normally it would be impossible, but I managed to figure out a way. And she starts off with Switherling, who is a fighting type and has low sweep, so it's super effective against all my Pokemon. But I lead off with Orthworm, and my plan to win this fight, which is the only plan I can make up, which is to make this thing go blind. Yeah, I just spammed Mud Slap 6 times and sent in Fortress. 3 layers of spikes, 2 layers of Toxic Spikes later, and I probably should have also brought Stealth Rocks, but whatever. And I decided to send Fortress out with a bang, going for Explosion. So long, old friend. You really were helpful, and I don't give you enough credit for that. Anyway, we can send in Osmium, the Giga Chad of a Pokemon, set up 3 sword stances, and take it out with a Trailblaze. Root Bonnet is smashed by close combat, and next is Screamtail. I know I can't outspeed the Fluttermane with just 1 speed boost, so I have to go for another Trailblaze here, and it lives. This is really bad, and we just barely survive on 29 HP from a play rough. Jesus Christ. After that, we can take it out in a second one. Fluttermane is thrashed by Earthquake, as is Sandy Shocks, leaving only Roaring Moon. And at level 69, we have the power of Dank on our side, and 1+6 super effective double stab close combat destroys that beast. Meaning that we beat a Pokemon Scarlet Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Steel types. I guess you could even say that we beat it with the hardest type. Well, but after losing 9 soldiers in the run, I felt that we needed to do more. I felt that there was another region to take on, and I turned my sights to Brilliant Diamond. Cynthia is going down.